64,000. That's radio to 64,000. Text radio to 64,000.
This statement is not evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
When it comes to my lifestyle and diet, I don't always make the smartest choices.
Touchdown! Woo! Hey, how about another round and some more chips?
But when it comes to taking care of my liver, I do make one very smart choice. Active Liver tablets from New Nordic. I used to have real issues with my liver, and at my last checkup, my doc was concerned about my numbers. But since adding a once-a-day Active Liver tablet, my gut's better, I feel great, and my doctor's happy. I ask a lot of my liver, so the least I can do to say thanks is a daily dose of Active Liver.
We ask a lot of our liver, so give it the support it deserves with an easy daily detox from Active Liver. Made with natural ingredients like turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke, Active Liver helps cleanse and protect your liver so you feel less bloated and more energized. Find Active Liver online at Amazon, Vitacost.com, or iHerb.com. Or pick it up today at CVS, Meijer Grocery, or ShopRite. When your liver is happy, your body is happy. Enjoy life to the fullest with Active Liver.
This statement is not evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose.
All right, gentlemen, 90 seconds.
Great workout, huh? Hey, do you want to grab some lunch?
I'd love to, but I'm doing one of those detoxes, so I'm only allowed to drink this green stuff all day.
Actually, I'm doing a detox too, but I don't have to drink that.
Wait, what? What detox are you on?
It's called Active Liver, and it's a natural tablet with herbs that support my liver and help me detox daily, all year long. No special diets, no prescription required, no starvation, and no, green stuff. I'm feeling amazing, sleeping better, and have so much more energy. And my digestion's never been better.
Active Liver, huh? I'm gonna pick some up right now, on our way to lunch.
We ask a lot of our liver, so give it the support it deserves with an easy daily detox from Active Liver. Made with natural ingredients like turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke, Active Liver helps cleanse and protect your liver so you feel less bloated and more energized. Find Active Liver online at Amazon, Vitacost.com, or iHerb.com. Or pick it up today at CVS, Meijer Grocery, or ShopRite. When your liver is happy, your body is happy. Enjoy life to the fullest with Active Liver.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
KCFX HD4 Harrisonville, K279PI Kansas City, 103.7 FM. Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City.
America's largest all-sports radio station presents the #1 motorsports show for over 2 decades, Track Talk, brought to you by Rod End Supply and the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Here are the racing boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Welcome, everyone, to Track Talk right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Kirk.
Are you ready to go to Creek County Speedway tonight?
Right.
The Racing Boys are headed to Creek tonight. How about that? We're going to see the season finale for the ASCS Fuzzies Fall Fling tonight. So we're looking forward to that. But last night was night 1 at Creek County Speedway.
Blake Hahn won.
And honored his grandmother last night. How about that?
Right.
Passing Zach Chappell on the last lap to win the opening night feature at Creek County Speedway.
Right.
That was some kind of race last night. It looked like Zach was going to get it nailed down last night, but Blake just went around to the outside on the white flag lap and scooted right past him.
He did.
At one time, he was running as far back as 5th. He started on the 3rd row, and so he had a lot of work to do. Sam Haferteep Jr., I don't think he's officially wrapped up the championship yet, but he would have had he run up front. But
what happened to him?
I think he got into the rear of Chance Morton's car.
Right.
And he got turned around. Blake was right behind him when that happened. And so Sam had to go to the back. He recovered to 18th place. But I don't think that's enough. I don't see anything in the story here where he's officially wrapped it up. He's got a 125-point lead on Matt Covington. But Sam is going to officially wrap that up tonight. I have no doubt about that. And if he does, It'll be his 6th championship. Nobody else has won more. He was tied with Jason Johnson with 5, and he won those 5 in a row, from 2016 through 2020. And I think he's going to be officially the 6-time champion tonight. We're going to hear from Sam Hafertepe coming up a little bit later on this hour. We spoke with him on Monday's Mostly Motorsports show, and we'll have that interview coming up a little bit later in the hour. But we got some big news to report here, Scott.
What's that?
A couple of days ago, we found out that the MLRA is coming back. The late model series at Lucas Oil had owned and operated. Yeah. They shut it down at the end of the 2024 season. And in that period of time, Ernie Leptwich, who had worked that series for 19 years and was an employee of Lucas Oil, when they shut down the series, they named Ernie the assistant general manager at Lucas Oil Speedway. Well, he decided to leave that position, go be the series director for the Comcap Super Series. So he did that this past season. Who took over the assistant manager's job? Well, Casey Schumann.
Right.
Formerly of I-70. Took that position over, and now Casey's the general manager at Lucas Oil Speedway. But Ernie Leptwich put out a release a couple of days ago that he is bringing the MLRA back because he acquired the MLRA from Lucas Oil.
Right.
And it took a while to get that all nailed down. And so he and his wife have decided they're going to bring back the MLRA, and we'll hear from Ernie Leptwich coming up in just a few minutes, and he'll give us all the details on what to expect. I think this is a good move, don't you?
I do.
I think, all of us watched what happened in 2025, and there was a void in dirt late model racing that the MLRA provided. So I think that's great news that they're bringing it back.
Him and his wife are bringing it back.
Yes, sir.
Right.
I like it. So those of you watching online, they come up with a pretty good logo there. I like the new logo that they've got up there. So we'll hear from Ernie coming up here in just a few minutes, and he'll give us all the details on what's going on. Some other big news came out yesterday. John Force has officially announced his retirement from driving, which is no surprise to anybody. I think we all saw that coming after his horrendous crash at Richmond more than a year ago now. We're all just happy to have John Force around, right?
Right.
He's still with us. He's still going to be the team owner. Brittany, his daughter, announced that she is stepping out of the Top Fuel ride to go start a family. And so there's not going to be any Force driving a car. I don't think that's good for the NHRA.
I don't think that's good either.
John Force, no doubt, was the toppest. He was the biggest draw for NHRA for a lot of years. And without him driving a funny car down the track, I think it's hurt NHRA. You've seen the crowds tail off a little bit. Somebody's got to fill the void. You got to have big-time stars. And Tony Stewart, I think, is probably the guy you look at right now.
16-time funny car champion.
Yeah, nobody will top that.
Right.
16-time funny car champion. So John Force made the announcement yesterday, and I wasn't sure if he'd ever make an announcement. Are you surprised he even made an announcement?
I am.
Because I just kind of figured that he would just kind of let it lie and, leave it out there. But John is not a young guy. What is he, 76 years old?
Right.
77? Soon to be 77 years old. So he's had a heck of a career. And I think he was pretty happy to be able to make this announcement and not, still be able to tell the story of his terrible crashes that he's had and still be able to do what he's doing. So I think everybody's happy that we still have John with us.
Right.
Because he took some pretty nasty crashes over the years. And I don't think a lot of people know that John Force got a lot of history here in Kansas City. Before anybody even knew who he was, he'd come to KCIR and race his funny car. They used to call him Brute Force back then. but he was not an overnight success.
Right.
He didn't start winning races till much later than when he started. He won his first funny car championship in 1990, but he spent a lot of time, and he always threw a lot of praise to the Harmon family and all that they did to help him early in his career. And every time John came to Kansas City, we had him in our studio a couple of times, didn't we?
Right.
He always praised the Harmon family for everything they've done. Of course, they were the owners of KCIR for a lot of years. So, big news, NHRA is in their season finale weekend, but rain wiped out the opening night of the World Finals out at Pomona Raceway yesterday. I guess it rained all through California, didn't it?
It did.
Because they were supposed to race USAC Midgets at Placerville last night. That got rained out. And so we'll see how the weather moves through there if they're going to get that USAC Midget race in. The Hangtown 100. Kyle Larson's in the field. So that is supposed to be tonight. We'll be keeping an eye on that on Flow Racing. There was some dirt late model racing in the country last night. Big show down at Sonoya, Georgia this weekend. It's the Flow Racing Night in America doubleheader weekend at Sonoya. And Jonathan Davenport wins last night's opening round feature event. They'll pay $30,000 tonight. Davenport's on a little bit of a roll. He won the feature last Saturday night at the World Finals at Charlotte. And now he's in his home state of Georgia at Sonoya.
Beat Tim McCready.
Keeping it going, yeah. Tim McCready's been running pretty well lately,
right,
hasn't he? Got that barefoot Bob McCready look on that number 9 car. Tim McCready's found his footing after struggling just a little bit for most of the year. He ends up in second. I don't know if this is a controversy or not, but I don't know what do you think about this, Scott, but every time that we see somebody spin out, Jonathan Davenport spun out to avoid hitting a lap car that had turned around right ahead of him, but they gave Jonathan his spot back. How do you feel about that? Now, I know that's in the procedure rules for Flow Racing Night in America, that if you spin to avoid an accident that's not your fault, you're going to get your spot back.
I don't agree with that.
Well, I think the problem is where do you draw the line? There was another incident that Bobby Pierce was involved in last night, although Bobby wasn't running up at the front. They put him to the back, but he also avoided, and then they were talking about if you keep your tires rolling and if you don't stop, then you can get your spot back. And we know they have the blend-in rules in World of Outlaws, but I think where the problem lies is that you can really parse things out at some, it's going to be some circumstances that you can't make a judgment. It's a judgment call.
Jason Martin didn't have a good night either, did he?
Down at Creek County Speedway last night. Former champion Jason Martin had a night he'd just as soon forget. He had some damage in an incident earlier in the night and then got that repaired.
We're going to go down to Creek.
We're going to be there tonight. Yeah, looking forward to it. So it's they're going to start earlier tonight at Creek. 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
So we got to leave early.
Right.
Make sure we get down there in time. So Jason Martin, he's had kind of a rough year, hasn't he? He won the championship 2 years ago, and last night he's hoping that tonight goes a lot better. That is for sure. But the final rundown of last night's feature event had Blake Hahn as your winner, had Zach Chappell finishing in second, Matt Covington third. He's 125 points back of Sam Haverty Jr. right now. It'd have to be a miracle for Sam to not win that championship now. But Seth Bergman, last year's champion, finished fourth. Chase Porter was fifth. Sean McClellan, sixth. Chance Morton, Kyle Bellum, Zach Dahm, and Alex Sewell, your top 10. 45 cars at Creek County Speedway last. That's a pretty good number, isn't it?
It is.
So congratulations to Blake Hahn as the winner. They had a couple of support classes last night. Colby North won the factory stock feature, and Jimmy Forrestal won the dwarf car feature event. They had a dwarf car get upside down earlier in the night, got up under the wall, and did a rollover. Those cars are kind of fun to watch.
Right.
So we'll see all of it tonight, 6 o'clock at Creek County Speedway. Should be a lot of fun. Not a lot of racing to talk about here this morning. That right down at the end of the season here. So got the Creek County Fuzzies Fall Fling this weekend. Got the Hangtown 100 at Placerville tonight for the USAC Midgets and late models at Sonoya. That's about it.
Right.
So when we come back, we're going to be talking dirt late model racing. The MLRA has returned. And we're going to talk with the owner of the MLRA, Ernie Leftwich, about it when we come back here on Track Talk.
Track Talk. Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial.
4.5 minutes, gentlemen.
10-4.
Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
BetMGM is coming soon to Missouri. On November 17th, sports fans in Missouri can pre-register and get up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets if their first bet loses, plus an additional $100 in bonus bets if they deposit before December 1st. Enjoy a betting app that was designed for game day with features like live bets, same-game parlays, BetMGM rewards points, and surprise boosts dropping in your account all throughout the season. It's everything a sports fan could want in one app. Pre-registration is coming soon to Missouri on November 17th. BetMGM. Make it legendary. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and up only. Missouri only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements and minimum deposit of $10. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Pending BetMGM's licensure as a mobile sports wagering operator with the Missouri Gaming Commission. Register for a Missouri online sports wagering account starting 11/17. BetMGM's issuance of a welcome offer is conditional on full licensure.
Red Door Wood-Fired Grill is the place to celebrate every game this season. Kick off your week with $6 Burger Monday. On Thursdays, tackle jalapeno fried chicken night, and Sundays, fuel up with brunch, feast on prime rib, and toast every touchdown with their half-price bottles of wine. Add in fresh new cocktails and mocktails like Red Kingdom, and you've got the ultimate playbook for game day flavor. Visit any of the 6 KC locations all season long in Brookside, Lee Summit, Lenexa, Leawood, Liberty, and Overland Park.
The SEC showdown you've been waiting for is finally here.
Manning comes out swinging to Ryan Wingo. Down the far sideline. He's going to go all the way.
Today, Arch Manning and the high-powered Texas Longhorns head into Athens to take on the Georgia Bulldogs between the hedges.
Stockton stepping up, throwing complete, and it's Thomas who's free. Another Georgia touchdown.
Don't miss a second of the action. Catch Texas and Georgia live tonight at 6:30 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
The football season is in full swing, and take it from me, Sorrent Petro, there's no better place to play than Underdog. That's right. Download the Underdog app today. Sign up with promo code Sorrent, SOREN, to score $100 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code Sorrent. Listen, you can select entries and win money right now in Missouri. Playing on Underdog is super easy. Just pick your favorite players and go higher or lower, like Patrick Mahomes. Higher on the passing yards. They're on fire with the passing game. Why wouldn't you? How about Isaiah Pacheco getting that rushing game going? Go higher on the rushing yards. Receptions, touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards, all the stats are there. Get your entries right, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. It's at Underdog. Download the app today. Use promo code Sorrent. At Underdog. Make plays, win money.
Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms_DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
1 minute.
And at your Henhouse Markets, they're ready to help you make it the best one yet. Thanksgiving starts at Henhouse, your local home for everything fresh and delicious, from hand-selected turkeys to farm-fresh produce, bakery pies, and all your holiday sides. Henhouse has what you need to make this Thanksgiving perfect. Pre-order your turkey and holiday meal today and spend less time in the kitchen, more time around the table. Make it a Henhouse Thanksgiving. Henhouse Market, your local, trusted grocer since 1923, and now 100% teammate owned.
Thanksgiving is coming quick. Pretty soon the sound of football and family will take over your house, and everyone is going to be ready to eat. If you need to call a timeout on spending all day in the kitchen, let Joe's Kansas City Barbecue lend a hand. Reserve a whole smoked turkey by calling any one of their 3 KC locations in Mission, Leawood, or Olathe. Joe's also has smoked turkey breast, ham, and of course, brisket and burnt ends by the pound. Be the MVP of Thanksgiving with Joe's KC Barbecue.
Welcome back to Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. Kirk, we got a special guest.
Yes, sir. Big news coming out this week that the MLRA Late Model Series is coming back after a year off. And joining us to talk about it is the owner of the MLRA, Ernie Leftwich. Ernie, how you doing this morning?
Doing good, guys. Thanks for having me on, and yeah, we're excited to be able to bring this back.
All right, you the Lucas Oil company shut down the MLRA a couple of years ago. You were tied in with the MLRA as an employee of Lucas Oil. You left to become the series director of the CompCam Super Series for a year. What led you to come back? You had the ownership of the MLRA when Lucas Oil dropped the series. After a year off, what led you to come back and fire this thing back up again?
Well, I mean, a number of things. Biggest thing is just, when I was contacted there in 2024 in December about, we was just about to release the schedule for the 2025 season, and I'd got a call from the corporate office saying, hey, let's hold off on that. And then we had a meeting just to verify what was going on, and closed down. They actually asked me to stay on board with Lucas Oil, and which I had been with Lucas Oil for 19 years. But they asked for me to move over to the Speedway and be the assistant GM to Danny Lorton at the time. And so I did take the job. Losing the series was a big shock to me. You always know in the back of your mind nothing's forever, especially in the racing world. But so I accepted the job with the GM there at the Speedway. Then I just pondered on it, and it was just eating at me. What can I do? What can I do? Well, in the meantime, I'd got a couple calls and texts from Willie Gamble that was in the middle of purchasing the CompCam Super Dirt Series, as well as the owners, Chris Sullivan and Jack Sullivan of the CompCam Series. They were ready to sell and ready to move on, and Willie Gamble was ready to get that thing purchased if he could find the right person to come on board and operate that deal for him. But so I decided to leave Lucas Oil. Went and done that deal with him. Just, man, my heart and soul, dirt late models, always has been. But anyway, so I went and done that. It's a late model deal. It's just a lot of those racetracks down there were quite a ways away, for me to go to, and I knew that going in. But I wanted to be a part of the late model world. Well, in the meantime, when I was on my way out of Lucas Oil, I'd asked corporate about purchasing the MLRA series, and that took a while to even get an answer. Like, we didn't know if that was even a possibility, So I spent some time on the phone with Matt Kimmick at that time trying to figure that out. And it had to go through some legal stuff because of the trademarks they had and ownership and what all had to be done to get that done. And then I went ahead kind of just put it on the back burner and, just left it alone and prayed about it a little bit. And anyway, about the 1st of August, I got a call saying, hey, we can make this deal happen if you still want this. And so I was just told from their parts what I needed to do, and how to make it work and get everything set up on my end. And the wife and I just talked about it, and I really didn't want to be. We call myself an owner. I don't call myself an owner. I just, hearing Cowboy give me a chance back in 1997 to come to work for them, and again, my love was for dirt late model racing, and it just come the chance that, if I could do this, and from several teams, promoters, car owners, all that above there, from them guys reaching out to me and saying, hey, honestly, they wanted me to bring the Comp Cam Series north. I just, that's not fair to those race teams in the South. I mean, even to come to Wheatland for the majority of those teams, it was 6-7 hours plus just to come to Lucas Oil Speedway. And so I knew they weren't going to go north any, and let alone go to Iowa. So I kind of just backed off, and me and my wife had talked about it after we got the ball rolling for the MLRA deal. And I just made the decision to where, when you're working for somebody, you want to make sure, especially full time, that your schedule's full and you're not just taking the guy's money that's paying you.
Right.
But also you've got him. Yep.
So to work out all the logistics of all of this was going to take a year off to get it all worked out to where you could fire this back up again. It sounds like to me.
Yep. Yeah. It took some time, and the promoters and the race teams made it easy. After we put it all together, it all come back together with as easy as they made it. So we're still working for a few races, looking for a few races, and since we put our announcement out yesterday, I've had some calls. We just got to try to fit those in our schedule and see where we're going to be.
You're talking about 20 to 24 races. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I kind of went into this deal. I kind of leaned on James Essex, is the announcer for the Lucas Dirt Series. He had brought the Northern All-Stars back over in his area a few years ago, and what he did, he just met with a few teams and track people and said, hey, this is, I've had some interest in doing this, bringing this series back and doing some stuff, and I said, James, listen, what did you start out with? And he told me, I think he told me 4 races the first year he done it, and he didn't have a points fund or anything like that. He's like, Ernie, it takes people like us that wants open late model racing to be around. Somebody's going to have to step up and do this. Don't be shy. You know what you're doing. So that's James was a pretty good pusher for me to help try to figure this out and come back with it. But no, I like I said, I wasn't for sure how many races. I didn't know if we needed to have 20. I didn't know if we needed to have 28. But I think the first year a good number was 20 to 24. And we're just going to try to cover the ground that we had covered since 2012. I've got some interest from some southern racetracks, but the people that had reached out, they were from our old area, the Iowa area, Missouri, that, and so that's kind of where my focus is at and what I want to do, and just kind of get our feet back on the ground and roll along and see what happens with it.
So is the schedule going to look similar to when Lucas Oil had it? What changes in the schedule do you envision?
Yep. No, I right now our schedule is looking pretty much the way it did. Now I will say, because Lucas Oil did decide to close the doors on the MLRA, we did lose some marquee events, and not to take away from anything else, but for instance, the Slocum 50 at 34 Raceway, Burlington, Iowa, that was a big event. Got to know the people and the family as part of that event. So, things like that we're not going to get. Another series has come in and taken that on, and we're looking at trying to find a date to work for 34 Raceway to where we could get in there and at least have an event there. But yeah, we're going to be at Davenport a couple times, Iowa. We're looking to be at Maquoketa, Iowa. Then, we do have a event scheduled for West Liberty. So yeah, the schedule's going to look a lot of the same. We're going to be at Lucas Oil Speedway a couple different weekends. Let's see, we're going to be at Springfield. We didn't get to, with MLRA when Lucas bought it, we did not get to be at Springfield a lot, just because, other series and stuff around. But with everything that's going on now and some things changing around, Jerry's asked us to be a part of that. And then, of course, Moberly, we look to probably be back over at Tri-City and Lake of the Ozarks. And I-55 is another one. When they sold out, and this Josh Carroll, that's the new promoter over there, me and him's talked quite a bit about trying to bring a weekend over there to I-55. So, yeah, we're going to – a lot of the same area we've done, and, since 2012, that's what we're going to try to cover.
You mentioned Lucas Oil Speedway, so there is a chance you're going to get back in and stage some events at Lucas Oil Speedway?
Definitely, yes. And when I left there, I left knowing, I wasn't upset with what they did. They had to do what they needed to do business-wise, but I've kept my relationships open there, between Danny before he left, Casey Schumann, Jamie Denby, which is Jamie's kind of the head honcho now, I guess you'd call him, over the ranch and the speedway, and kind of just tried to keep those relationships open. And when I told Casey and Jamie and them what I was doing, and I asked them, I was pretty blunt with them. What would it take to be able to come back and have these events if you'll have me? And they were pretty well wide open arms. So that's a good thing. So having those relationships and keeping those relationships were big.
I know you're wanting to be putting out a pretty substantial point fund. What are the prospects of a title sponsorship?
Well, I do have a couple of meetings set up here in the next week or two with a couple different people, and that's my biggest deal right now is trying to get something done with that as far as being able to provide these guys with a points fund. And right now is the time to be doing that. So I do have a couple meetings set up, and hopefully, I'm hoping maybe in the next month or so we can get something announced there with how we're gonna do that.
How soon do you think you can get a schedule put out?
I've told most of my promoters that I've already talked to and dealt with, and I've got commitments and all that. And for most of them, I do have dates. I just if I could get to that 24 mark, that's kind of where I want on the top end of number of races. And I'm really trying to hope by next Friday, Thursday, Friday is kind of what I've mentally set as my deadline. So I'm kind of looking for the next week to have a schedule out.
You going to have Billy Rock back announcing your races?
Well, I don't know with Billy. I think Billy's going to help me with a few things as far as if I need any press releases wrote or something like that. But
yeah.
Billy, when we closed the MLRA, Billy went to work for Joe Koziski and doing that SLMR stuff. But man, if it would work out and Billy's able to get away, and even if it was just a handful of shows, I would love to have Billy Rock back. He was just like you got the voice of the World Outlaws or Lucas Third. He was our voice for sure, and a great guy to work with.
You know who's smiling right now? The Merman. Lloyd Collins is smiling down. He's happy about this news.
Yeah, Kurt. I tell you what, I know he's up there smiling down, but I wish he was here to share it with us. And I actually told my wife the other day, we were just going through some photos, and I told my wife, I said, listen, I'm going to try to find a photo for all of our events, and I want them to for all of our events for 2026, I want them all to be Lloyd's photos in those, and I want to get him photo credits and make sure everybody knows Lloyd's still here and a big part of this.
He sure is. Well, Ernie, congratulations on getting this thing. I like the logo, by the way, too. That's pretty cool.
Appreciate it. That was done by Robert Clont, so he did very well on designing that.
Well, we'll stay in touch soon. Can't wait till the schedule comes out. Again, congratulations on bringing the MLRA back. A lot of people are very happy about this. There's no doubt a void was there last year without the MLRA, and we're glad to see it back. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right, you take care. There he is, Ernie Leftwich. He doesn't like to call himself the owner, but he is the owner of the MLRA, and they're back in business in 2026. How about that? So we've got Sam Haferteeth coming up next.
Right.
He is the newly crowned champion of the ASCS National Tour for the 6th time. We'll hear from Sunnyvale Sam coming up next here on Track Talk.
Track Talk. Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
All your favorite NBA players are back, and Draft
3 minutes, gentlemen, 3 minutes.
Partner of the NBA is the place to bet on NBA stars this season. With more markets open for more of the game, DraftKings, the #1 sports book for live betting, is live when others aren't. New customers bet just $5 and get 3 months of NBA League Pass. Plus, score $300 if your bet wins, paid in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 810WHB. That's code 810WHB. Bet $5 and get 3 months of League Pass plus $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, Kansas only. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, eligibility and restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. NBA League Pass auto renews until canceled. Additional terms at dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
Choosing a clinic to trust with your aesthetic and wellness services is an important decision. I'm Matt Toronto with Aesthetic Care, Med Spa, and Wellness. I'd like to share with you how Aesthetic Care is unique. Aesthetic Care has been serving Kansas City since 2001, and since that time, we have grown to be one of the largest clinics of its kind in the entire United States. You will not find a more experienced and well-trained staff anywhere. Our physicians, nurse practitioners, nurses, and estheticians have over 400 years of combined experience in advanced aesthetic and wellness services. We offer more than 70 of the most advanced treatments available anywhere in the country. In 2025, Aesthetic Care was chosen by the Kansas City Business Journal as a champion of business and as the best company to work for in Kansas City. As well, we are featured on the Bloomberg Network as the world's greatest med spa. All of this is possible because we simply love what we do and we are driven to offer a level of customer service that consistently exceeds expectations. Go to greatskinkc.com to find out more about Aesthetic Care or call us at 816-338-7881. And as always, we look forward to taking amazing care of you.
New at the Nelson Atkins Museum of Art, explore the intersections of artistic and athletic practice. The free exhibition Personal Best celebrates 6 Kansas City artist-athletes at the top of their game. Find out how dedication, discipline, and drive push these artists beyond individual limits in both their art-making and athletic pursuits. Learn more at nelson-atkins.org.
Kansas City, it's time to bring the heat.
30 seconds.
Another season of fast-paced, high-scoring indoor soccer. Catch the Kansas City Comets as they kick off their season Saturday, November 29th at Cable Dahmer Arena, taking on I-70 rival St. Louis Ambush. Kickoff is at 6 p.m. Grab your crew, grab your seats, and feel the action up close. Kansas City Comets. Fast, fierce, unstoppable. Tickets at ticketsforless.com.
Welcome back to Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. Kirk?
Sam Haferteeth Jr., I said before the break that he's the newly crowned ASCS 6-time champion. Well, not so fast after his 18th place finish last night, but it'll be official tonight. He'll be the first ever 6-time champion for the ASCS National Tour. Earlier this week, we spoke with Sam Haperteep Jr., and here is part one of that conversation. Big weekend this weekend. Is it official now? Are you a six-time champion? What do you got to do? Just show up on Friday night at Creek County and it's over?
I think we just got to pull in the gate there. I think mathematically, if we do that, I think it's pretty well locked up.
So what does this mean now? Before you were tied with Jason Johnson as a five-time champion of the ASCS. Now you're all alone at the top as the all-time champion of the ASCS. What does that mean to you?
It's definitely, any time you can be a championship of anything that many times, it's definitely a hard feat to do things like that. I know when I first started racing, I never knew where I'd be or how far I'd ever make it or what my accomplishments would be. I just, always had some goals, and my goals were to just be the best I could all the time. And over time with ASCS, we found a pretty good niche there, and we've been really successful and been able to have, good car owners to allow us to race full time and to achieve that. Without the car owners that we've had through the years, and without my dad helping me out as much as he did early in my career, none of that would ever be possible. So, we've been very fortunate to be able to have the longevity to even pull something like that off.
Talk about your dad a little bit. He's more important than anybody to you. I understand that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, he's been so instrumental in everything I've done. When I started racing karts when I was young, he pushed me really, really hard, and it didn't never matter how good you did, it wasn't good enough. And at the time when you're a kid and your dad's doing that, you kind of, I don't know, it kind of defeats you sometimes. But going through that, all those years really helped me have the right mentality, for racing. For when you're in racing, man, it's you can win one night and it's still not good enough. You got to figure out how to be better. And my dad, he really instilled that in me.
Let's talk about your season. You've got 11 wins on the ASCS Tour this year, 13 total victories. At one point, you had a heck of a streak going on till you showed up at the 360 Nationals at Knoxville, and that got broke. We'll talk about that here in a little bit, but just kind of talk about your season so far. You have to have great consistency to win championships, but evaluate your year.
I think, whenever I start thinking about this year, I felt like we came out of the gate and we were really dominant. We honestly felt like there was, we felt like we were the only person that could beat us was ourselves. So, we stayed like that all the way till about Knoxville. And honestly kind of felt like we plateaued a little bit, and we kind of hit a dry spell there for a while. Montana is usually it's just not good racetracks for us. Nothing wrong with the racetracks. It's just, those places just haven't always been good tracks for us. And I felt like going there, we had a rough stretch there for 2 weeks. Couldn't get a win down there. I think at that time right before we went up there, we won at Wakini. And then, like I say, we just had a bad stretch there for a long time. And I don't think we won another race for a month, after winning 5 in a row. And I felt like, when we were getting close to the end, we have a huge points advantage, over 200 points at most of the time. And then you're like, man, okay, we don't need to do anything crazy here. Like at the beginning of the year, it's, man, we need to win. And then we got so far ahead. And then it's almost like, your mentality changes maybe. And, and it's not like you're not trying to win, but, you're not forcing things like you were earlier in the year. And I honestly think that hurt us. I felt like I wasn't doing my job as good as I needed to be doing it. But I think it's also the mentality once you get that far ahead, you don't want to mess it up either. So we were able to kind of get our wits back about us, and we won at Tulsa. Felt like we were pretty dominant there, and obviously coming into Creek County at the end of the year, we've really been fortunate to be really fast at that place too. So I wanted to finish with more victories than we have. I thought we had 12 last year, and we had a really bad year as far as a lot of things going wrong. And this year, we honestly had a really good year for the first half of it. And I just feel like we really haven't executed as well to finish the year off. But I mean, nevertheless, we've had a really good season. We can't complain about that. I just feel like there's some stuff we left on the table this last half of the year, but I don't feel like our speed's gotten any slower. Just it's racing. Not everything always goes your way.
11 wins this year.
Yeah, as he would say, he's only got 11 wins.
Right.
That'd be a lot for most people, but he hopes for a better night tonight than he had last night.
He's got 21 top 5s and 26 top 10s.
Yeah, that's championship worthy right
Right.
there. But he's going to officially accept that championship tonight.
Right.
And it'll be his 6-time champion. They got their banquet tomorrow at the Hard Rock Casino. We'll hear more from Sam Hafertepe Jr. coming up in
Should we
hour
stay down
2.
there for the Hard Rock Casino?
I don't know. We can talk about it.
Right.
Don't you need to be invited to that?
Right.
You just can't crash that
You got the
party,
Chiefs
can
game
you?
to watch, too.
Right.
Tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, you got to be back for the Chiefs, don't you?
Right.
3:30 game tomorrow. Big
the
game.
Broncos. Are they going to win?
They better win tomorrow.
If they don't win, do they not make the playoffs?
It moves their percentage chances
down,
way off the
down.
chart if they don't win tomorrow.
I don't think you can rule the Chiefs out in any event,
No.
but they really need to win tomorrow, don't they?
Right.
We have to beat Denver a couple times.
That's hard to do in Denver, isn't it?
It's not easy.
So we'll see
We
what
even-
happens
We'd
there.
like to see Jacksonville get beat as well because they hold the tiebreaker over us. So anytime we can see Jacksonville get beat, that'd
So
be
the
good.
Chiefs are in a
Well-
position out of where they got to hope for
Yeah.
other teams to do bad.
wild
Right.
card situation. So, unfortunately, hey, and also we got Rodney Sanders as well, our number 2, another
He's a
six-time
six-time champion.
another 6-time champion. So
Of the USMTS. So we'll hear from the newly crowned USMTS champion in hour 2. Spoke with him earlier this week on Mostly Motorsports. We got a guest lined up for Monday's Mostly Motorsports, Dave Argerbright.
how about that?
One of the great motorsports authors will be joining us. He's also the co-MC of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame induction ceremony every year with Pat Sullivan. And he'll be on to talk about his new book with Steve Kinser, about Steve Kinser.
Right.
20-time World of Outlaw champion and 12-time Knoxville Nationals winner. Wrote a book about Steve Kinser, and he'll be joining us on Monday to talk about that. I was going to we talked a lot about what's going on the dirt track scene, and NHRA drag racing wrapping up their season this weekend. NASCAR has there's been some big news coming out over the last few weeks about this lawsuit that's coming to a head, and whether or not this thing is going to go to trial. It's scheduled to go to trial in December. The lawsuit that 2311 and Front Row Motorsports levied against NASCAR. Michael Jordan is the co-owner with Denny Hamlin on 2311 Motorsports. And that other team sued NASCAR for, what do they say, monopolistic practices, saying they were a monopoly and they were, the antitrust coming into it. And
Right.
I've said all along, I don't think this thing is going to trial. I don't think either side wants it to go to trial, but the reason there's been no settlement yet is because they don't have to reach a settlement
Right.
yet. My prediction is it's going to be right up to the day of the trial, and they will settle. Because I don't think either side can afford their books to be revealed. They've already wanted Roger Penske and Rick Hendrick to reveal their books, and they don't want to do that.
Right.
And can you blame them?
No.
And I don't think NASCAR wants to reveal all of what they've got going on, although the court has revealed some of what the financial records are of NASCAR. They've already revealed some of that. You know, what NASCAR makes in terms of their franchises and how much money they've spent and so forth. So some of that has already been revealed. Don't you think that the reason why the court is doing that is they want both sides to settle up?
Right.
Because I think it could be the ruination of NASCAR if this thing goes to a full-fledged trial. Because that's not going to be pretty the way that works. And once it goes to trial, it's going to be so unpredictable what's going to happen. I am going to bet that the day before the trial, there's going to be a settlement and all this. And neither side is going to be happy with what they end up with. But that's what they're going to have to do if they want to continue the sport as it is right now, don't you think? What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. It's not a good look going into the off season having this kind of I don't know.
It's the last thing they want to be talking about right now. They want to be looking to the future in the 2026 season, which they got a lot of good things coming up in 2026. They got that road race out in San Diego on that Air Force base, and they've got a lot of things that I'm sure they'd much rather talk about. And what's worse than having to deal with this when they'd rather be talking about the Daytona 500 coming up next year?
Did you see the new Camaro for next year? Look at that, Scott, up on the screen there.
They came out with a new body.
That's the new Camaro.
Is that going to give Chevrolet a big leg up?
I don't know, but it looks cool. It's the ZR, the new Camaro, the 2026 Camaro. So I don't know. I like it. What is it? The ZR1 or Z something one? But it's pretty cool little beast. ZL1 race car. So.
And we'll see if Chevrolet also, they won the manufacturer championship last year.
Yes,
Kyle Larson being the champion. So we'll see if they can get a leg up on Toyota and also Ford. Dodge has entered NASCAR in the truck ranks next year. Brendan Queen, who won both ARCA races at Kansas Speedway this year, is one of their drivers for Dodge Ram next year. So Dodge has entered back in.
Looks like I see Dale Jr. is going to be bringing his team to Daytona 500 for 2026 opener. So that's good news for.
He's made a name for himself in the Xfinity Series, soon to be called the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. So Dale Jr., you always kind of thought he wanted to jump up into the Cup ranks.
Absolutely.
He's been pretty successful. He had 3 cars in the Final Four in the Xfinity Series, and none of his 3 cars won the championship.
No.
It was Richard Childress and Jesse Love who won the championship.
Right.
So Dale Jr., I guess you better have 4 cars if you want to guarantee that you're going to win the championship.
Well, like you said, it's tough to field 4 cars in anything, but good on Dale Jr. He's having fun. Seems like he's enjoying life, so we always like to have an Earnhardt at the track. It's kind of like a force.
Right.
It's like one of the forces being at the drag track. If once you start losing those names, it's kind of, I don't know, kind of scary, guys, when you start losing the names of the sport. So,
well, at least if they're involved in some fashion, and it looks like
Absolutely.
Dale Jr. is going to continue to be involved for a long time.
Yeah.
And I still think he's the best analyst on TV of all of them. He was on the Prime and TNT side of things this summer, But I think race fans would like to hear more of Dale Jr.
Sounds like he might be a little busy next
He's
year.
going to be busy being a team owner, right?
So it might
and
be.
he still does these Dale Jr. download.
Oh, yeah.
He's got all that going on.
Him-
Hey, I just wanted to mention here before the top of the hour that the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum has not just one but 2 Corvettes they're going to give away, right, Todd? They
Yeah.
got
Let me pull that up real quick here because that's pretty cool stuff.
what is that, a 57 Corvette?
Yeah.
They're going to draw for this on Christmas Day. And even if you win this Corvette, you're still entered to win the regular Corvette, the one that they normally give away.
That's the cool part about it. You can double up your Corvette. How about that?
Yeah.
If you get you 2 Corvettes, let me see if we can. Let me see if I
we
can.
got the information up
Yeah,
there. Bob Baker, the director of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame, did a video. What was that? About 30 seconds?
Yeah,
Can you play that?
we're going to play that real quick here.
All right, let's hear it.
Let's pull that up real quick.
We'll hear
here.
Bob Baker talking about it.
Oh, let's see here.
He is
Knoxville, Iowa, and you won't believe this, but we are giving away this beautiful 1957 Corvette convertible Christmas Day this year, just a few weeks away. You'll want to enter this flash contest right away at winacorvette.org, and if you win the 57 Vet, you're still entered to win this beautiful 2025 Z06 Corvette convertible that we'll be giving away on Valentine's Day.
So he said Valentine's Day, they're going to draw that. So anyway, go to winacorvette.org to get registered. This flash contest ends on Christmas Day, and you can win that. That's that beauty, that 57 Corvette. So all the proceeds, of course, go to the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. Got a lot of great things up there. The museum is open.
Welcome back to the National Sprint Car.
We were going to hear him again, right? The museum and the Hall of Fame is open 7 days a week, outside of a couple of holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas. So even though the season is not going on right now, the Hall of Fame is open year-round up at Knoxville. They got a lot of great exhibits up there. They keep changing the exhibits all the time up there, so you want to make sure that you pay a visit into the Hall of Fame because things always change. And, of course, got a lot of great items in the gift shop. Go to sprintcarstuff.com to see what they have up there. A lot of great gift items, and they got a lot of great books up there, including the one that Dave Argerbright co-wrote with Steve Kinzer. We're going to be talking about on Monday's Mostly Motorsports show. So all of that and more going on at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. The 410 side of sprint car racing is just about over. They got a race tonight at Baps Motor Speedway out in Pennsylvania this evening. That'll be the final 410 race of the year. I think Sprint Car Unlimited has the live video of that. So all of the top players from out in PA will be out there. But I can't think of any more 410 sprint car races after this weekend. Of course, we're going to be focused in on midgets here over the next couple of weeks. We got Placerville coming up tonight. They're going to have the Turkey Night Grand Prix coming up in a couple of weeks out at Ventura, and races in between. So we got a lot of midget race coming. And Kyle Larson's he dug his midget back out. He's the defending Chili Bowl champion, you know.
Absolutely.
So he's going to go at it again. I know Dason Persley, who almost won the Chili Bowl out there and swept the Four Crown Nationals here a while back. He is out in Placerville. 100-lap feature tonight.
Man.
For midgets.
100 laps.
Yeah. Placerville's not a very big racetrack, though, is it? Pretty small racetrack. You've been there.
I've been there.
It's a bull ring.
Yep.
So 100 laps around that thing will go pretty fast tonight. So hopefully the weather will cooperate out there at California. It didn't last night. Hopefully all that has moved out. We can see some good midget racing going on out at Placerville Speedway. And, of course, got the late models going on down in Senoia, Georgia tonight. $30,000 to win. Race for the Flow night in America. We've got Fuzzy's Fall Fling tonight. We're looking forward to go down there, honor the great Fuzzy Hahn. We miss her a lot, don't we?
We do.
And it was kind of cool to see Blake honor his grandmother last night.
I was very close with her.
I know you were.
Yep.
So we'll look forward to seeing everybody down at Creek County. Tonight we got Hour 2 coming up exclusively here on Racing Boys. Stay tuned. College Game Day is coming up next. And we'll be joining you next Saturday morning. And we'll put this out here. Checkered flag for the Racing Boys next Saturday.
Right.
So we'll be here next week. We hope you join us too. Jay Powers, thanks to you back at 8:10. Todd Surprise, great job as
Thank
always.
you.
For my partner, Scott Traylor, I'm Kirk Elliott. We're the Racing Boys. Join us next week.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Get your home ready for the holidays with a Meanies Black.
All right, gentlemen, we will see you next week.
All right, brother. Have a good weekend.
You too.
On every
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Here at Specialty Sportswear in-house, we do all of the screen printing, all the embroidery. We do some vinyl. The other add specialty items like your pens, magnets, notepads, calendars. You can actually buy that, build your business to make it larger. We have the largest screen printing process and the largest embroidery anywhere around in the area. We can do stuff all the way from your school clubs to sports teams, a professional look in the office. If you can imagine it, we can do it for you.
From the circle track to the drag strip to off-road racing, Rod End Supply has been keeping their customers at the front of the field since 1989. Whether you need rod ends, tubular rods, or specialty products, Bob Douglas and his Rod End Supply staff are always ready to help you with your needs. You can visit them on the web at rodendsupply.com or call them at 800-284-2902. That's 800-284-2902. Rod End Supply, keeping you at the front of the field.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sabres 33 RLP. Let's go take a tour. Coming into this animal, we're going to take a trip back here to the feature of this trailer, the deck. Check it out. It's awesome. It's 4 by 10 feet. You can dance on this thing. Boom! Check it out. It's pretty nice. And then coming to the back of this thing, you got a 75-inch TV. It's huge. 60-inch fireplace. It's nice and big, keep you warm. Then you got an ottoman that converts into a table, if you will. Maybe some TV trays. Then this hide-a-bed that I'm pointing at, it comes out and folds into like a king-size bed with storage in the corner for all your linens. Great little addition to the trailer. Your dinette, of course. Then you're gonna come around to the kitchen with the tic-toc sink. It's got the spritzer and the waterfall and all that stuff. Residential style refrigerator. It's got the microwave and the oven that's residential as well. Big old pantry over here with motion detected lights, coffee bar, and then coming up to the bedroom, you'll have the bathroom first, nice and spacious with a seat in it for them ladies. And then we got the king size bedroom with washer dryer hookup. I'm telling you, this is a home run for a couples coach. Come and see me, Kyle Walker.
Steve died, the outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
So we have a lot of folks come in interested in traveling for work. This is going to be a great option. Your Coachman Northern Spirit 2565 front kitchen. You have a nice wraparound full front kitchen here. Huge windows up top. Big 12-volt refrigerator. Lots of windows on the sides here. Great natural light coming in. You have your big TV over here on the swing arm bracket so you can kind of see it from any point in the room. Also have your bar stools here. Sit and eat your breakfast. In the bedroom, you're going to have a king-size bed in the slide-out. Lots of storage underneath that. Washer, dryer, hookup. Tons of storage with the drawers. Then you got your full bath across the back. When it comes down to a camper that you can get for 6,500 pounds and be under 30 feet long, this is an absolute home run.
Race fans, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum is open 7 days a week, year-round, for you to come in and check out all of the wonderful race cars on display in the museum. And our online store at sprintcarstuff.com is open 24 hours a day for you to check out everything that we have in stock for sprint car fans. Whether it's for a birthday, anniversary, or Christmas, sprintcarstuff.com has it all. That's at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.
Hey everybody, this is Larry the Cable Guide. You are listening to RacingBoys.com, and if you're not, I swear to you, get in your truck or do something, but get the hell out of this country, because you don't belong in it if you don't listen to these fellas.
It's time for America's most unique motorsports show, Track Talk, brought to you by Rod End Supply and the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Here are the racing boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Welcome back to Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Kirk?
Biggest story of last night was Blake Hahn passing Zach Chappell on the final lap to win Night 1 of the Fuzzies Fall Fling at Creek County Speedway. What'd you think about that?
I thought that was pretty good.
Blake started on the third row, but was able to get himself ahead of the soon-to-be ASCS champion Sam Haperteep. When Sam looked like he got into the back of the 7 car, and Blake was right behind him at that time, Sam got turned around, and he had to go to the back. So he came from, 23rd to 18th last night? It was going to be kind of hard to maneuver his way up on that bull ring last night. So Sam has a 125-point lead over Matt Covington heading in tonight. And you thought that the maximum amount of points is like 150 or something? Is that true? I don't know what the point breakdown is that. You'd think a 125-point lead should be official, but I don't think it is, because they didn't say it was official last night. So I think he's got to wrap it up tonight, right?
Right.
Which would be an absolute shocker if things go so poorly for Sam tonight that he's not able to nail this championship down. I can't imagine that happening. So Sam Haperteep Jr. will be the 6-time ASCS champion. They'll have their banquet tonight down there at the Hard Rock Casino, and we'll see who wins the big prize tonight. Night 2 of the Fuzzies Fall Fling, but it was kind of cool to see.
We're going to go down there, Kirk.
Yes, we're looking forward to that. But it was kind of cool seeing Blake out there, and His grandpa was there, Emmett, helped celebrating that whole thing last night and honoring Blake's grandmother, Fuzzy, last night. So kind of a cool thing. I think didn't he win the opening night of that a year ago too?
He did.
I thought he did. So we'll see if he can make it a sweep tonight. Blake, they don't live too far from the track, do they? They're pretty close, right?
Right up the street.
Right up the street. So it's a home game for the Hahn family tonight, and we'll see how things transpire tonight when we get out. Got to get down there earlier. It's going to start an hour earlier than last night. 6 o'clock they'll start. So Scott and I will be hitting the road here pretty shortly after the show. Make sure we get in. It looks like the weather's going to be great tonight, right?
Yep.
So it's un-November-like weather around here, isn't it? I don't know how cold it got last night.
It didn't get very cold, but I don't know, my house, it's been raining.
You got some rain yesterday, didn't you?
And it's still raining.
It looked like things were a little bit wet this morning.
This morning, my car, I had the windshield wipers on. It was like a fog, but it was almost like we were in London.
My windows were fogged up too.
Yep, and took the windshield wipe. It wasn't just fog. It was there was some dense water on it. So it's very. I was working in the yard. Kirk called me the other day, and I was outside working, and I've been taking advantage of it because it's just too nice of weather to.
How much longer are we going to see this kind of weather?
I don't know. I'll take it until January 1st if you want my opinion, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think that's going to happen.
We're going to start seeing cold weather real quick.
We got a taste of it earlier in the week.
Yeah, that was not fun. I did not like the bundling up already.
They've got another event going on this weekend. It's called Turkey Bowl. It's at Springfield Raceway this weekend. They got A mods, B mods, and some other classes down there. I don't know if do they have late models down there this weekend?
I do not know.
We'll check on that. I know that the A mods were in action last night. Rodney Sanders is down there, and he is coming off wrapping up his 6th USMTS championship. And so just like Sam Hafertepe Jr., 6-time champion. That was kind of the theme of last Monday's show, wasn't it? A couple of 6-time champions.
6 times.
Anyway, Rodney Sanders has been around modified racing for a long time. He wraps up his 6th USMTS championship, and we spoke with Rodney earlier this week on Mostly Motorsports. You're a 6-time champion now for the USMTS. Congratulations. Let's talk about your season so far. What do you got? I see 12 wins this year in modified racing. Just kind of talk about your season here in 2025.
Yeah, it was a pretty good season. I felt like we started off and really well. We usually seems like kind of struggle at the beginning of the year, and we actually started off really well and ran really well through the summer, and I felt like just really consistent for the most part. I feel like we're kind of haven't had the end of the year that we've kind of been wanting, but we've had a really solid year altogether, and can't really complain about it.
Well, when you think 6-time champion, you're thinking, well, you got to be the all-time leader, but you still got a little ways to catch Kelly Schrock, huh? He's got a few more than you do right now. Are you going to try to catch him?
I don't know. I mean, we just kind of, I guess, take one year at a time and just kind of see what our, schedule allows and kind of see what our funding is and all that good stuff. But, as of right now, we probably plan on running it again next year. So I need to, schedule isn't out or anything. But as of now, we kind of plan on doing that and just kind of going from there.
You're from Happy, Texas, but you're kind of based up in Minnesota these days, are you not?
Yeah, so I stay at my dad's there in Happy, Texas in the wintertime and stuff like that. But my wife and I actually live just south of Minneapolis, about, 40, 50 miles. And we use a guy's shop up there, that Tom Paulson with the Paulson Rock Products. We use his shop, which is in Casson, Minnesota, about 30 miles south of where I live. So, so we stay up there and kind of base out of there from about April through October, and then the other months I kind of work out of my dad's and go back and forth. So we kind of basically have a southern hub and a northern hub.
Minnesota's kind of hotbed for these modifieds, is it not? Pretty big up in that part of the world.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're, the shop we use is about 30 miles from Deer Creek, so that's a really big modified area, I feel like. It's a pretty good hub, especially once we get to racing a lot. We can hit several tracks. It's a lot better than being in Texas. We're 5-6 hours to any track, it seems like. So you can hit, within 5 or 6 hours, go to tons of places. So it's definitely really nice up there in the spring and summer and stuff. But the wintertime, I try to get out of there as much as I can.
You were at Texas Motor Speedway this past weekend. Not a good weekend this weekend, huh?
No, it was a terrible weekend for us. We were experimenting with a few things and couldn't get the car to run right on Thursday or Friday night, and switched everything back, and it run fine, but we ran third in our heat race. We've been a shock right away in the main. I felt it clanking around, so I just ran probably half the race or so, and it kind of got single file. And where I was running, I think the pay was probably pretty much about the same from there on back, 12th or so. So we just pulled in and cut our losses and regroup and kind of go from there.
I see you're going to race in the Dome here coming up, right?
Yep, that's our plan. We're going to run Keith Hammett. He's nice enough to let us run one of his spare cars, so we're going to he lives in by Jonesboro, Arkansas, so we're going to go and get that ready, and we're going to do that. And we, if everything goes right, might try to run it at the Turkey Bowl this weekend.
Yeah, I'm amused when you say one of his spare car. I guess you don't like to really use your own equipment inside the Dome. It'll get bent up, so you'd like to drive other people's equipment, right?
Yeah, I mean, after last year, I was pretty determined that I wasn't going to do it again. But then we got the invite, and I thought, man, if I don't go, I might not get invited again. And it's such a cool event. Like, it is it's really awesome, to just to go and to be a part of it. So that's really cool. So we decided to kind of try it again and go with a more familiar car. It's an MB custom car, so I'm familiar with them. So at least we'll have something that we're familiar with anyway. So looking forward to that, and it should be a good time.
Yeah, what is that like? I mean, you'll never race in front of more people, a bigger crowd than the Gateway Nationals in St. Louis. What is that like, racing that?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, just like you said, the crowd is so electric. It's almost like, to me, like being at WWE for racing or something. It's so cool just to have that many people and and race in front of that many people. So it's definitely a different style of racing. I don't even feel like it's kind of anything like anything we do, but it's still just a crazy and cool event. Just to be a part of it, and there's a lot of like the mods are all they're all really good cars that are invited. So it's definitely a tough show to make, just because when you go on the track, your qualifying lap, your first lap's on the track is qualifying, so you don't get hot laps or anything. So that's kind of the biggest wild card, it's just going right to qualifying, and hopefully you get a good qualifying lap. And but anything can happen. I feel like if you're just in the race during that race, I mean, I think just if you can survive, you're probably going to have a pretty good finish.
And if you were to win an event like that, that'd be like the biggest win of your career, would it not?
I mean, prestige-wise, it'd be pretty cool. I actually don't even know what it paid. I don't know if it's 10 or 20,000. I know it's a pretty good payday. So it would be pretty cool to just to be the bragging rights more than anything. And
I see you're headed to the Wild West Shootout down in Arizona. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we usually try to go out there every year. I mean, it's been at Vado the last several years, so we always like going there. But Arizona's a little further, for us to go. But I felt like the weather should probably be better, and just looking forward to it. I feel like that's kind of a time to try to get a jump on the year, and you can try a few things. You're at the same track for, I think, 5 or 6 days. So at least can try a few things and try to just get, a little bit ahead on the season.
Vado is a great facility. It looked like just the fans in the stands just didn't match up. What were your thoughts about Vado Speedway and where they had that Wild West shootout? Was the weather a big factor there?
I believe so. I mean, last year it snowed a couple days, but it would seem like, it was just real hit and miss with the weather. It could be, one weekend 70, 75 degrees, and the next weekend the high might be, 40 or 50. So I felt like that definitely, played a part of it, and maybe the location a little bit. But, I mean, I felt like the facility and the racetrack and everything there is great. I mean, that's one of the, nicest places we go to. So, I mean, that part of it was awesome. It's just I felt like maybe the location a little bit more, probably more than anything, the weather. So I feel like the fans they'll probably have more fans in the stands being in Arizona. So, no, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not real familiar with that track. I think I raced over there years ago one time. So, but I've seen a lot of videos. It looks like a pretty big place. So, looking forward to that. It looks like it should be a good field of mod and late models.
You've been around this modified racing for a long time, the USMTS. You're a 6-time champion. Just what are your thoughts now about where modified racing is right now? A lot of the guys have gravitated up into the late model ranks. I know you delved into late model racing. Just what are your thoughts about where we're at with A-mods, modified racing, as it stands today?
I mean, it's definitely getting more and more, it seems like, technical, and, a lot of that late model world, the technology is trickling down to the modifieds, and, I mean, you're still limited on some stuff you can do, but it's just crazy to me, even from where it was a handful of years ago to now, the stuff that people are doing and the technology that's in it. So, it's definitely came a long ways, I feel like. I mean, the late model stuff's super awesome. Wish we could do some of that, but it's just, man, that stuff's so expensive anymore. Even the mods are getting really expensive, but that's just kind of, I guess, how it goes. It's the same for everybody. So, yeah, the modifieds are just, basically, a lot of the late model technology is trickling down, and it's just crazy to me where everything is.
You're not racing late models at all anymore?
Nope. We haven't had a car in a few years now, so I think I drove one a couple years ago, just here and there for a weekend or something. But no, we just basically focus all of our eggs in one basket with the modified stuff, and it's so hard to just run a little bit, and just to have one car, one motor, and then try to go run say a Lucas race or a World of Outlaw race and be super competitive. So we just felt like we had to kind of pick one or the other, and that's just kind of how everything, with the money-wise and all of our resources we had with the modified, it just made more sense.
What's the biggest difference driving modified versus a late model?
I feel like just the air itself, and then the late model, I mean, the modifieds are getting that way, but, the late model, the air on the nose is, I feel like, super critical. If, someone takes your air off the nose on the late model, it seems like you go just, take off pushing a lot of times, and it just seems like the late models, you got to drive them just so aggressive all the time. So that's probably just the biggest thing is the air and just how aggressive you have to be.
See, you got a couple of wins at Amarillo this year. You won at Mississippi Thunder Speedway, Cedar Lake. That's another great racetrack. Just talk about some of these wins that you had this year.
Yeah, it seems like, we kind of, Cedar Lake is, and that, and Mississippi Thunder and Deer Creek, that area, we race up there quite a bit when we can. So we're really familiar with some of them tracks. So all of them tracks up there I really like going to. So, yeah, definitely was, pretty solid year. I mean, I felt like, we've had more wins in the past, but I felt like we ran second and third tons of times this year. So just really consistent, and ended up winning at a couple new tracks, so that was pretty cool. But, yeah, it just seems like it really helps, when you get notebooks at certain tracks and a lot of laps at certain tracks that, you can kind of go, even if you're struggling, can go there and have a good finish and kind of get back going. So, yeah, I think we won 5 or 6 USMTS races. So it was definitely a pretty solid year.
Rodney Sanders, he is down at Springfield this weekend. They got a lot of A-mods down there this weekend. So if you want to watch that, I think it's springfieldraceway.tv is who's got the live video of that. They do have late models at Springfield. I just saw that on their flyer. They didn't have them the previous 2 nights, but they do have late models on the card down there. That's pretty much an all-day affair when they get all those classes, all those race cars down at one racetrack. I'm used to seeing that. They used to run that on Thanksgiving weekend. Then the weather got so chancy that they're really, they're having a couple of weeks ahead of Thanksgiving, the Turkey Bowl down at Springfield Raceway. So great hearing from Rodney Sanders. And, of course, they'll have the awards banquet here in Kansas City, as they always do, the USMTS, in late January. I think that's out at the Ameristar Casino is where they'll have that. So good having Rodney Sanders on the show today. We'll hear more from Sam Haperteep Jr. coming up here in just a little bit. Boy, it's just that time of the year. We're just it's less and less to talk about, isn't it?
Right.
The midgets are at Placerville tonight. I was looking at the point standings right now. Cannon McIntosh has an 18-point, let's roll that back, 12-point lead over Justin Grant heading into tonight. The championship will be wrapped up at Turkey Night, so there's still some races yet to go. Kevin Thomas Jr. is third. Jacob Denny, who's been on a hot streak, he wrapped up the Extreme Outlaw Midget Series Championship at Millbridge here last week. He is fourth in the point standings, and Gavin Miller is fifth. And so that's the way everything lines up as far as the points, and we're looking at the schedule right now. After Placerville tonight, the Hangtown 100, they go to Plaza Park Raceway in Vallejo, California. Or no, that's Vallejo, California. Or do you call it Vallejo? How do they say that? Vallejo, California? And then Thunderbolt Raceway at Tulare on November 21st.
I'm going to let you pronounce that, Kirk.
Oh, I'm screwing it up. I think it's Visalia, California. But I don't know. It's Plaza Park Raceway. That's where I'm not used to seeing them go there this time of the year, but I think that's the first time they'll visit that. So that's November 19th, which is on Wednesday of next week. And then Friday and Saturday next week, they'll be at Thunderbolt and Merced. Thunderbolt on Friday, Merced on Saturday. They go to Bakersfield Speedway at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway. That is the most too long name of a racetrack that there is in the country.
Right.
I'll say that again. Bakersfield Speedway at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway. Say that 1,000 times.
Right.
That's on November the 25th, which is a Tuesday, and then that weekend it wraps up with Turkey Night Grand Prix at Ventura Raceway. Corey Day is the defending champion of that event.
Kelly says, "Good afternoon from Central Point, Oregon."
Boy, we got a lot of good race fans out there in Oregon.
Right.
Place you've been to many times out there, Cottage Grove Speedway,
and Mark says, "Good morning from Topeka."
What's the other name of that track out in Oregon? Willamette. Willamette and Cottage Grove.
Cottage Grove.
Two great racetracks out there.
Scott's checking in from the Caribbean.
That'd be a good place to be right now.
The Caribbean. He's on his way home. Last week, remember, he checked in and
not so good when that hurricane went through there, though, right?
Pretty rough. Hey, did you see I think Rico put out a video on his social media page for trying to find it here. Yeah. he posted a video because of his last time with his team. Do you want to watch that little video? It was pretty cool little video that he posted. It was
Well, isn't he staying with all these guys? Let's hear it.
we won't be able to play
Oh,
the
you can't
whole.
play it.
Well, I'm going to play some of it, but we're not going to play the whole.
How long is the whole video?
Quite long. So, but I'm just going to play.
Well, let's hear a little bit of it.
So.
All right.
Rico Abreu.
I think this
So
is.
we're here at the World Finals in Concord, North Carolina. The dirt track is located just across the street from Charlotte Motor Speedway. This is a big event. We get late models, big blocks, and sprint cars here this weekend. Probably over 250, maybe 200 plus race cars. We have a qualifying night tonight where it's just strictly qualifying. That puts us in position for Thursday and Friday starting lineups. It's our final race of the year, and I'm really looking forward to trying to cap it off with a win.
So if you want to go watch
Boy,
that,
who's ever editing that is outstanding.
yeah, he's got an awesome.
He's got good people working on
He's
that
got
stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah, because I know
This
how.
is a prime example of these drivers doing social media, and Rico is maybe the best at it right now.
Absolutely right, like you said,
That's well produced.
what he's doing out there. It's pretty amazing. I know how hard it is to put together these videos, so. So anyway, like you said, it's a 30-minute video that they've put out, just kind of recapping their championship year, and they're still all staying together, but they're moving to a new team, with Tony Stewart. So
but doesn't he keep all the same people?
I think so, but it won't be. It's still going to be a little different though.
Still got Ricky Warner as his
yeah,
crew
no,
chief,
nobody's
Zach Middlebrooks.
Yeah, I don't think nobody's
Brady
leaving, but
all those guys are still there.
Yeah, but I think
and
this
will
is
be.
just a kind of a wrap up of the Rico era at Team Rico type.
I'm glad
of
you
thing.
showed that, because this is a prime example of what the smart drivers are doing
Yeah.
on social media right now.
This is what you have to do.
Rico's done better than anybody else of expanding his brand just by doing things like this.
Yeah, his YouTube channel and Facebook page is huge. And
Tanner Holmes is also good at
yeah,
it.
he is. And it's what it kind of takes.
David Gravel does a lot of
David
social
does a
media.
lot of gravel, and Brad Sweet did there for a while too. Brad's kind of moving on
Yep.
to different things, but with Rico, like you said, he's switching to it's basically in 20. This is what it says here. With High Limit Series Championship wrapped up, we were able to head down to Charlotte, North Carolina for one last time to race against the Outlaws. Not only was it a final race of the season, but also marked the final race for Rico Abreu Racing before switching to Tony Stewart Racing in 2026. Thank you to everyone who has supported Rico Abreu Racing and my journey as a race car driver. You can grab your, this is the best part, at the end of all of this in the thing, you can grab your Rico merchandise over at shoprico.com. See, that's how you do it, Kirk. In the end of all your statements and your comments, you throw in the shop part, and guess what? When you hover over it, you can go over it and just click it, and it takes you to the link. So they know what they're doing over there.
They've got probably some stuff from 2025 they want to clear out, bring in new stuff for
Absolutely,
next year. Yeah. Because next year's merchandise will have
it'll have
Tony Stewart
absolutely so
logo on it.
Be probably a whole new scheme coming out for them for next year. So I'm sure Rico won't have any issues getting rid of some of his merchandise. He's pretty marketable.
You can kind of tell the results of all of this stuff just by watching Rico at the racetrack and how much attention he gets. He understands that star power is everything, and he has risen his own star power ever since he won his first Chili Bowl. It really took off.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, in order to get yourself out there and sell some, to have the kind of merchandise and have the thumbprint on social media and being out there. That's what it takes to make it. Like you said, I talk about all the time with music. You know, these guys out there trying to make it up and down road playing music, and it just doesn't. You know, selling albums doesn't work anymore. You got to sell T-shirts, and your social media platform is huge. So no different than the race car drivers. So,
a lot of parallels, isn't it, to the music
is.
industry?
Absolutely.
Merchandise and
traveling,
live,
and
personal appearances and all that kind of thing.
Well, I know that it'll be next year should be another good racing year for those guys. I can't imagine not much is going to really change. We had that big interview, after he announced that, and said he knows that there's going to be a few bumps in the road, but I can't imagine there's going to be a lot between those two teams.
I can't imagine. With the same key personnel on his team, I can't imagine that there's going to be a big bump in the road. Sure, there's going to be a little bit of transition. He's going to be in a different shop and things of that nature, but I can't imagine, as far as the competition out on the road, that it's going to be better, if not anything else. He's going to have more resources behind him. You got the same personnel working on your race car. I can't think he's going to go through a whole lot of trouble.
I think he'll be just fine. Rico will be just fine. I can't imagine him having any problems. But you guys, do you think Blake's going to be able to pull a double tonight?
Yeah, I think so. I think, a lot of it has to do with qualifying. He started on the third row last night, the feature event. I think it would be more helpful if you're starting up front. And certainly, you got Sam Haberteam starting ahead of you. That Sam had problems last night. But I think at Creek County Speedway, Scott, I think you'd agree with this. You want to be starting up at the front.
Right.
You can't be more than 3 or 4 rows back and feel you got a chance to.
But boy, Blake sure threw it on him in that last lap, though, didn't he?
He did. At one time, he was as
far
back as 5th.
Yeah. So, like you said,
then he just kind of hung in there.
But Blake knows that place too pretty well, and if Blake's in second spot and we've only got a couple laps left to go, I'm going to put my money on Blake because he's going to try to do everything he can to win this trophy, namesake and all, So, it was a good. I watched the race.
And Zach Chappell, he came over and was the first to congratulate Blake when he got out. And you know Zach, he's a great guy.
Yep.
He was tickled to death that he had the great run that he had. You're always going to be disappointed if you let all that wait till the final lap and not win, but Zach still had a big old smile on his face last night. He was still pretty happy about the way things went, especially against that crowd. Now, Zach Chappell is a former champion of the ASCS. He won the series back in 2001, so he's got a lot of years around this stuff, but Zach's got a big family. He's got a lot of stuff, kind of keeps him close to the house these days, but he's still out there racing.
Right.
Still out there getting it done. So we'll look forward to being down there tonight at, that's a full quarter-mile racetrack, Creek County?
Yep.
Is that the length of it? So they'll have it going on tonight at night 2 of Fuzzy's Fall Fling. If you're not able to be down there, Dirt Vision has all the live coverage of it. Did a great job last night. Randy Ward on the PA, and you got Brian Ward. Got the Ward family involved down there, don't you?
Right.
Mahan and the Wards.
Right.
Matt and Ashley are running Creek County Speedway right now. And so they'll soon turn their attention to the Tulsa Expo Center, won't they? That's not too far down the road. The Tulsa Shootout and the Chili Bowl are coming up soon. They talked last night on the broadcast that there's still tickets available for Monday and Tuesday night at the Chili Bowl. So if you want to check more information on that, go to chilibowl.com for ticket information, all the details of the Chili Bowl coming up, and, of course, the Tulsa Shootout. You remember what happened at the Shootout last year, who the big stars were? Christopher Bell beat Kyle Larson in the Outlaw non-wing feature at the end of the night. That was something to remember, wasn't it?
It was.
Christopher Bell beat Kyle Larson. Now, C. Bell said he's not going to be running the Tulsa Shootout this year, but he will be at the Chili Bowl. I would expect Kyle to be at the Shootout, wouldn't he?
Yep.
Not said he's not. Of course, he's going to be out there in Australia running that race at Perth. The high limit race is going to be going on. He won that event last year. That's going to happen just right after Christmas. And you remember last year, Larson got on a plane and flew all the way back and was like 24 hours after he won at Perth, which is on the western side of Australia. He was inside the Expo Center racing his microcar. I don't know how you get over the jet lag of that.
You don't.
Right.
You don't. You just, I don't think you do. It's just one of those things that's, until you can get to sleeping, that's, I don't know how you travel that far, that fast, and jump in a car. But that's what they do. That's what all these guys do.
But the newly crowned NASCAR Cup Series champion is going to be in a midget tonight, weather permitting. Let's hope the weather cooperates out at Placerville tonight in the Hangtown 100. And that's going to be something to watch tonight. So part 2, Sam Hafertepe Jr. We spoke with him hour 1. Soon to be the officially 6-time ASCS champion. Here's more from Sam Hafertepe Jr. from earlier this week on Mostly Motorsports. The 410 Nationals, so you came in with a 6th place finish in your qualifying night. Would you end up in the B main at the 410 Nationals?
Yeah, we got into the B there, and I honestly thought we were going to have a pretty good shake at it there Saturday night, and the track just it kind of caught us off guard there in the B. We didn't move forward at all, and then we had a late caution and lost a few more spots. And when you get in that situation, we're starting. I want to say we were starting 9th or so, or somewhere around there, and we. It's one of those deals where there's a lot of really good cars, and you got to hit it perfect if you're going to make it to that top 4. 22 laps is a long time. Like we had the time, we just didn't have our stuff dialed in very good. But all in all, for a guy like us that races a handful of 410 races a year, we can't complain about being in the B main at the Knoxville Nationals.
You had a couple of wins in a 410 back in March, did you not?
Yeah, we won a Power Eye show at TMS, Texas Motor Speedway, and then we also won Elite 410 show down in South Texas. We had some pretty good runs with the Outlaws. We ran second and a third with the Outlaws, and we ran the third and a fourth with High Limit. We had some pretty good runs this year, with 410 stuff. Even though we didn't really run a bunch of races, we did have some good races and stuff to be proud of.
This past weekend down at Texas Motor Speedway, you finished 8th on Saturday night. What happened on Friday night? You scratched out?
Yeah, Friday night they sent us out onto the track with the track was still sloppy in qualifying. I think qualifying picked up over a whole second. So I think we were 3rd out of 12 when we went out, and the track had gotten so much faster by the end. We were back to 20th, and the track conditions I knew were going to be super, super heavy and hard to pass. And I told the guys we're going to load up and try again tomorrow. And I just wasn't real happy about the series decision to qualify us on slop. It just, a lot of guys drive a long way to go race. Like situations like that, we're not racing for points. No need to tear our stuff up or anything like that if we get in those situations. So we just kind of saved it for the next night and tried to do the best we could the next night. It just wasn't, the next night we were okay. And honestly, probably hurt us not racing the Friday because we didn't learn some things that we probably should have learned. But, I'm the kind of guy I'm stern in my approach, and if I believe in something, I want to stand behind what I believe in, and I believed in not racing that night due to the situations that the decisions that were made by the officials.
Hey, you're a fierce competitor. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I always, the way we always, like, when we race ASCS, I feel like when we pull in the gate, there's a lot of expected out of us, and I put that pressure on myself too. I feel like we pull in the gate, we're expected to win, and if we don't win, that's a failure, and that's the way we approach every night when we run that. We know what's expected of us. We know what we've done in the past, and I'm pretty strong-willed, and whatever it takes, we try to make it happen, and it's just I don't know. We've had that mentality for a long time, and I honestly feel like that's what's made me, as good as we've been in ASC is to, when you have a mentality like that, you hold yourself to some standard, it just drives you that much harder, and maybe you didn't do as good as you wanted to. Failure's not an option. So that's what keeps pressing you forward.
Sam, as a race fan, I really like what's going on with the ASCS right now. We've seen some great racing. The car counts have been really good. A lot of people are talking about the death knell of 360 racing, but from where I see it, where the ASCS is going, maybe it's got a little bit of a resurgence. Your thoughts about ASCS, where it's at now and where it's going?
Yeah, I mean, I really think, ASCS has the ability to rebuild and have a resurgence. With the World Racing Group taking over, obviously lots of good things are expected. As a racer, we can only hope for that. That's the biggest thing. As a racer that makes his living off of racing ASCS, that is something that, we want to see. I want to see, things get better for ASCS in the long term. It's like I try to tell people all the time, like there's too many 360 motors out there for ASCS racing to die. There's probably more 360 motors in rotation than there are 410s. I just think there's room for 360 racing to grow. I think there's a lot of things that, as ASCS, which is, the number one 360 series, I think there's a lot of things that, can always be done to make it better. And I think if the right decisions are made going forward, it can be something that's prosperous in the long run. But I think it's going to go through some trying times right now just because 410 racing is so popular. It has really, reached I feel like 410 racing's reached the pinnacle. They've done very well with the creation of High Limit, and it's actually, I think it's made the world of outlaw racing better as well. Just it's that competition level between the both of them to succeed, has really grown 410 racing. And, we probably never see anything like that in 360 racing, but I think there's some things these guys can do. And I think, hopefully, they have the right mindset going forward to keep growing 360 racing. I think 360 racing is healthy. There's a lot of guys with these engines. I know a lot of people always say, it costs the same price for a 360 engine as it does a 410. And, and that's not totally true. The actual opening, it's like I tell people all the time, the opening cost for a 360 and a 410, they're the same price. But to operate a 360 operation, the tire bill's way less. Operation of a 360 motor every night is way less. You get more nights on the engines. There's considerable amount of differences, with running 360 stuff. But like I say, where it's going and where it's going to be in 5 years, nobody does know that. We can only hope that World Racing Group has the best interest in mind with the ASCS circuit, that they're doing the right things to ensure that, it is a long-term goal of theirs to keep building the series. I mean, they bit the bullet and they bought the series, and like I say, we can just only hope that they keep trying to push forward with it. Try to get us a title sponsor would be a major goal for ASCS right now. If we could get a title sponsor, I really think it could open up a lot of avenues for ASCS to get into a lot more facilities and maybe build the schedule up. You know, a mass amount of dates isn't what any of these guys want. You know, most of the people that run ASCS aren't professional competitors. So, you know, what we want is a solid schedule where the travel looks rational. And I think if, you know, they make the right moves here, you know, in this off season with the scheduling and maybe point fund structure a little bit different, purse structure a little bit different to make it appealing to different racers, I think the potential for the series, you know, the sky's the limit.
You were at Texarkana here a couple of weeks ago. Should the Short Track Nationals go back to a 360 event?
Yeah, I mean, I've felt strongly about that. It's kind of like people were talking about making Trophy Cup a 410 event, you know, and you got a guy like Dominic Scelzi saying, no, there's no way it should be, then you're only going to have like 40 cars. And I think that's kind of what you saw, you know, a couple of weeks ago. I mean, you know, anytime you're paying $20,000 to win and 28 cars show up, I mean, that tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you know, 410s race for that kind of money often, you know, and then, you know, the sad thing is we race at Texas Motor Speedway this weekend for considerably less money, and we got 37 cars both nights. So, I mean, that kind of tells you everything you need to know. I think having a 2-day event at a place and paying decent money both days is a huge thing that a lot of guys look at. I think one of the things that probably hurt the 410 race at Texarkana was basically because the first day really didn't pay very healthy, and then the second day paid good. But most guys, every time they unload, they want to get paid decently. So
right.
I think that kept some guys away. But, I mean, I think the max amount of cars you're going to get for a 410 race that time of year, especially with, you know, if the Outlaws are racing at Charlotte and, you know, the next week, you know, a lot of those guys aren't going. You know, Outlaw guys aren't going to come. High Limit guys are already done for the year. So it really is a strong thing that I think, and I talked to Tim Crawley earlier in the year. I said, man, I really think you guys could make Short Track Nationals a 360 race again. I said, I think it would really benefit you. You know, I think if he didn't change anything and just made it a 360 race, I think 60 plus cars would have been there to compete. And I could be totally wrong, but I don't think I am. I think, you know, I think that race is one of those things where, you know, 410s aren't big down in this area, you know, and I think the 360s, you know, you could have made it 10,000 to win and make it a 2-day event, you know, not even have to pay 20,000. And I honestly think he would still have 60 plus cars. And you know, and like I say, it's not our decision. And, you know, those guys have done a really good job at that place. You know, I don't know if people have been there, but, you know, that place used to be, you know, I wouldn't say run down, but it wasn't, you know, a super, super nice facility. And the things they've turned around there, it's incredible. You know, they've done a hell of a good job with it. And I think the amount of work that they put in to make that a 410 race isn't doing them the justice it should. I think if they made it a 360 race and had 60 plus cars, you know, it'd get that Short Track Nationals vibe again. And I think that's what they need to do going forward.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with Sam more. His comments there on the Short Track Nationals. They had 27 cars down there. They paid $20,000 to win on the second night, and you expect to see 60, 80 cars. I remember one time there was like 100 cars at the Short Track Nationals. It was always I don't think always a 360 event. For the bulk of the history of the Short Track Nationals, it was a 360 event. And he pointed to the Trophy Cup here a few weeks back out at Thunderbolt.
Right.
That's a 360. It's a very popular event. And 360 racing needs another crown jewel event. They got the 360 Knoxville Nationals. They once had the Jesse Hawk and Daniel McMillan Memorial. That's no longer a 360 event. That's going to be a high limit race next year. So I think the Short Track Nationals needs to go back. And, of course, the Fuzzy Falls Fling that we're seeing this weekend is turned into a big-time event. They had 45 cars there last night. And so that's a good number. at Creek County Speedway, and it's their season finale. And I like that they've made the Fuzzies Fall Fling the season finale at Creek County. Then they can have the banquet the next night at the Hard Rock Casino. That's a good tradition that they've developed for that event. But I do think that 360 Racing needs another Crown Jewel event.
Right.
And the Short Track Nationals going back to a 360 event, I think would be a smart move for Tim Crawley down there at Texarkana. You'd agree with that?
I would agree with that.
And proof is in the pudding. We saw the car counts a couple of weeks ago down at Texarkana, and I think Sam is absolutely right. They wouldn't have had to pay out $20,000 on Saturday night, and they still got 60 race cars down there. I believe that.
Right.
And so let's see what they do moving forward on that. But what the ASCS is doing, the World Racing Group, and, Lonnie Wheatley and the other folks that are in charge of the ASCS down there have really rejuvenated the ASCS the last couple of years under the banner of the World Racing Group, Dirt Vision's live coverage, and everything that we're seeing right now. I like what I see right now with the ASCS. It's come back to a certain degree.
I would agree with you, Kirk.
You got to have stars. They've got, Sam Haperteep Jr.,
Right.
You got Blake Hahn, you got Matt Covington, Jason Martin, the former champion. Seth Bergman is not racing all the time now. He's not a full-time. He used to be a full-time guy on the ASCS
Right.
tour. He was there last night. But you still got to have the star power. I remember when you first started going out and chasing the ASCS, which you did for, what, dozen or 15 years? How long were you out there with
12
the
years.
12 years. Back then when Racing Boys first got started with it, you had Jason Johnson, you had Shane Stewart, you had Brady Bacon, and who else was out? You had all these big-time stars.
Sam Haperteep.
Aaron Reitzel is a former champion of that series. So it had star power back then, and it kind of lost its luster there for just a little while, but I can kind of sense it's coming back just a little bit. I like the schedule that they came out with in 2025. And you still have to have, and I think Sam made a good point, you still have to have a schedule that lends itself for most of the guys that race they're not professional racers.
Right.
They still got to work for a living. So you still got to have dates that these guys can get to. And I know back in the day, you had the long trip out to the Pacific Northwest, and people just kind of took off for vacation for that deal. So we're not seeing the long trip out to the Pacific Northwest. You made that trek out there, I don't know how many times, out to Grays Harbor and Skagit and come back through
Right.
Montana. You hit all those racetracks. I think they're still going to Montana, though. But not making that long trip out to the Pacific Northwest and into Oregon and so forth. What was that like out there making that trip every year? It was great to kind of have the camaraderie. Everybody was in it together for those 3 weeks out there. That was kind of a cool thing, wasn't it?
It
I
was.
didn't get to participate in it, but you and Scotty Cook and you guys were out there
Right.
chasing that around all those many years. So, but still, you have to have the schedule to where it lends itself to these guys being able to make all the races. And I think they've done a pretty good job with the schedule in 2025 of making that happen. So,
I would agree with you, Kirk.
yeah. So, anyway, hey, there's some big news that came out yesterday involving our good friend Bob Douglas and the Midwest Lightning Sprints. They now have a title sponsor for the Midwest Lightning Sprints. It's Wholesale Batteries Incorporated. Now, Wholesale Batteries also sponsored the non-wing sprint cars. They had the MWRA, and they also helped sponsor this past
Right.
year when the Power Eye hooked up with the MWRA. I'm not sure exactly where all that's going in 2026, but Wholesale Batteries is now the title sponsor of the Midwest Lightning Sprints. And
that's good for Bob Douglas.
It is. That'll help him really advance it on. We're going to get Bob on the show next week, talk more about that and all the other stuff. And, you know, Bob Douglas has been such a good friend to the Racing Boys since day one.
Right.
We're going to make an announcement right now before we part company, but we're going to talk more about it next week, of course. But Scott, you want to say what we're doing? You want to make the announcement?
Are we going to retire?
We're going to retire from Saturday morning Track Talk.
Right.
We're not shutting Racing Boys down. We're keeping that. We're keeping the Racing Boys going. You'll still see the website. We're going to do some podcasts every now and then, but our Saturday morning show is drawing to a close 1 week from today.
Right.
And it's official.
Are you sad, Kirk?
Yeah. How about you, Todd? What are you thinking?
It's going to be kind of strange not coming in on Saturday mornings. Been here for 12 years. I appreciate everything that you guys have done. Scott hiring me back 12 years ago and taking a chance on just some dude who was trying to make it in some kind of business. You know, I just came off of come back from being cancer, had my cancer clear, and I was trying to find something to do, and unbeknownst to me,
I'm glad you're over the cancer.
Me too. I appreciate it. Like I said, you guys have been a big part of everything that's been going on for the last 12 years. And
well, we're old men now.
It's just kind of...
You know, when we first got started, we didn't have a lot of competition online. We were about the only ones there for a while, but now there's just a lot of stuff out there. And I'll turn 70 next year. Can you believe that?
I'm going to be 66.
You're already 65. Todd, you're what?
57.
You're a kid to us.
I'm 57, but I'm about the age that Scott was when I'm a little older than what the age of Scott was when I started with you guys. So, like you said, I've been doing this. You know, we started with the Racing Boys, and then we picked up a TV show. We started doing a TV show. We did Racing Boys TV for a few years, and
Metro Sports.
That was.
You did a lot of TV back in the day.
We did some great stuff, you know, and those TV shows you can still find some of those on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, and you can search the archives for that. But that was such a fun time doing that, and then going down to New Mexico, Arizona to get the pay-per-view stuff kicked off. We did that first broadcast down there, and after that, Scott and Scotty was out on the road for the next 12 years. You know, we didn't have Scott. Scott wasn't in the studio every week back in the day. You know, he was out on the road beating and banging, and so a lot of times we'd be Skyping Scott in or Zooming, whichever format we could get him in. Had him on the phone for years, and so it's been
the staple of everything that we have done over the last. I've been here 25 years. You started a couple of years before I came along. Scott is this Track Talk program on Saturday morning, Sports Radio 810 WHB, and Chad Boger has let us do that over on 810 for all those years, which is unheard of in radio. They don't let you do that for that long, do they? But they did. They allowed us to do it all those many years over on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Before that, you were on 1510.
Right.
And I came along in June of 2000, and so it's been a hell of a ride, and we can't thank Chad Boger enough. We're going to talk more about it next week. Of course, we'll be here. Got Mostly Motorsports coming up on Mondays. We'll be here with that. Dave Argerbright is our guest on that show, and we'll have another guest lined up as well. So we've still got some work to do here.
Yep. Then we're going to do
a couple of shows in January around the Chili Bowl.
Yep. Got some podcasts to put up and some interviews, and Kirk and Scott are going to be down there at the Chili Bowl.
The other
taking care of
thank you
business.
has to go to the Hahn family, Emmett, that allowed us to do the Chili Bowl all those many years. 8 years on audio and 8 years video. What did we do that? 16 years down at Tulsa at the Expo Center, and that's probably the biggest thing we've ever done. So it's been a hell of a ride, and we're going to be here one more week to talk more about it Next week, we're going to do another show, 2 more shows, mostly motorsports on Monday and Track Talk next Saturday. So
Got Ryan Ragland.
We're still going to be around.
Ryan, what do you got to say?
Love you guys.
Well, thank you for calling in, Ryan.
Yeah,
you've been our
good.
late model guy. You were our late model guy.
Well, late model, mod, dirt, take your pick, but
yeah,
you guys did a lot for me.
Well, we appreciate all you've done for us, and so what do you think about? Hey, I was going to ask you, what do you think about Jonathan Davenport last night at Sonoya? Got caught up in an incident, it spun around, but they gave him his spot back. Are you okay with that?
It depends on when they were, quote, throwing the yellow. As slick as that track was, he wasn't going to get his spot back. Points wise,
they didn't get Bobby Pierce his spot back when he spun around.
Yeah, and that's part of your problem with your inconsistency. Yeah. But people came. I mean, Davenport is kind of like Pierce and some other guys. You either love him or hate him. So you're going to have people that are going to say, well, they were just showing favoritism, they were doing this, but I don't know. I'm glad I wasn't in that situation. He probably should not have gotten a spot back.
It's in their rules. It's in their procedure rules, so there's that. But I don't know. It's too much of a judgment call.
How many cars were lapped at the time?
I'm not sure.
That's my question on how far back he would have been and how the points would have set out for the championship.
It was still early enough for race. I don't think there were all that many cars that were lapped at that time, but I don't know.
No, there weren't too many. I'll tell you what. How coincident is it that McCready was right behind Davenport at the end of the race?
Yeah. How well is he running right now?
Peas in the pod, and talking to McCready at 81 after his win there. Him and Davenport still talk a lot. They're still real good friends and stuff. But it's just first time in a while that those two have been on the same track, and you got Davenport McCready 1-2.
Well, I don't blame Jonathan Davenport for anything. He's just following the rules. But
hey, don't get mad at me. Don't hate the message.
No, I'm not mad at Jonathan Davenport, but he caught a lucky break. I'll just say that
he did, and that's just going to make tonight that much more interesting. And when he got on the podium, he heard a few boos. He had that Davenport smile, but that's what you're going to get when Davenport wins.
It's not his fault. I mean, he did good just to not crash into him and tear the car up.
And maybe that's what their ruling was, that he came to a stop to avoid a wreck.
Yeah.
And he was not the cause of the caution, which some sanctioning bodies do that.
And others
that's
don't.
Why a lot
others
of
say that's just the luck of it.
Stop, you're part of the caution.
Right. Hey, Ryan, thanks for calling in. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks a bunch, guys. You guys allowed me to do a bunch of stuff that probably wouldn't have done. Made great friends with Todd, you, and Scott, and
we'll still be around. We're not going anywhere.
A lot of other drivers and stuff. I know you're not going anywhere, but I just had to say this: being able to come on and talk about something that I really enjoy and really love, and being able to do things, you guys have been huge for me.
Well, I appreciate that.
Appreciate that, Ryan.
All right, you take care. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, later on, guys. Take care.
There he is, Ryan Ragland. He come in here and fill in for you, Todd, on occasion.
Right. Yes, sir.
Come in here and run the board a couple of times.
Absolutely. I've got a special folder in here for Ryan and to how to hold down the fort in case had to be away. I was away a few times, had a couple of vacations I took, and probably taking quite a few more vacations now that be wrapping up this here.
Well, we're still going to the races. We're not going to stop doing that. We're not going to stop being race fans.
Right.
We'll still be around. We're just not going to get up early on a Saturday morning to do radio now.
Right.
That's it. Which means that we can now make plans to maybe go for the full weekend at some of these places. Is that possible now?
Might actually happen. A lot of people don't know this. Kirk Elliott was going to retire a couple years ago, And me and Scott and a few others, we talked him out of doing that.
Well, I decided to continue working because of nothing related to here.
Yeah, nothing related here. So he stuck around. But like you said, you were going to hang this thing up a few years ago, and I was going to hang it up right behind you because I didn't want to try to figure out
I'm glad we kept it going, though.
Yeah, no,
I'm
like
happy
you said,
we did that.
I'm glad we did. We were able to, and like you said, we have 385 episodes of Mostly Motorsports. We have one more episode getting ready to pop up next week, and then, like you said, start next year, have a couple more at the beginning of the year to kick off the 2026 season. Yeah. Like you said, we appreciate you downloading that and subscribing to that. That'll hopefully hold you over to till next year.
But we got to thank Bob Douglas, Rod End Supply, for all he's done for us. Bob Douglas, you are the best, and we'll talk next week. And of course, Bob Baker, National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, and all of the other big sponsors that we've had on this show down through the years. We can't thank them enough. That they were all possible for us to keep this going. Of course, the Hahn family, Emmett, and who allowed us to go down there and be a part of the Chili Bowl all those many years.
Right.
We still are going to continue to go to the Chili Bowl.
Yeah, I'll probably come.
We'll be there.
I'll probably end up going I probably won't go this year. I've got some things, but now that it's not a working type thing, I talked to a couple of the guys, and they said, we've got you a ticket. Just come on down and sit on. So like you said, I'll probably make my way down to the Chili Bowl next year. Probably won't be this year. I'm going to be my brother's moving into my stepdad's house. My stepdad's moving away. So
you knew somebody that lived in Tulsa, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, I've got a very good friend, and their family lives just right outside of Tulsa. So every year when I would go down there to either the Chili Bowl or the shootout, depending on weather, I would try to make a trip down there to Okmulgee, Oklahoma, and say hello to my friend Stacy. He made some music for the show, some of the bump music that you hear. We appreciate all the people that done the music. Adam Bartley with all of his music that he produced for us, the intro to the
we'll
track
have to get a
talks.
list together for next week. Make sure we don't leave anybody out.
My cousin's band, we appreciate them. My cousin Kevin, he allowed us to use all of his music. All the bump music that you hear that actually sounds like a real band playing, that's either Adam or my cousin. And then for the last few weeks, the bump music that you've been hearing has been me playing, Scott. That's been my audio.
Right.
That's good stuff.
So I decided to we were getting so many people claiming royalties, Kirk, on our stuff, that I just decided, I'll just make up some of my own stuff, and I just recorded it.
Facebook can't shut us down.
Now, I don't mind giving Adam and my cousin, like I said, those two, they get royalties on their audio, and that's good.
Yeah.
That's good for them. But we appreciate all those guys, like I said, anytime we needed some audio bed for a music video or for our videos for our ASCS tour, we were lucky enough to have some people that were musicians and pass some audio on to us, so it's good stuff. I saw Adam, Kirk, and Scott. He was playing live on the radio up there.
I saw that.
How cool was that?
Yeah.
Takes some big ones, some big brass ones, to be able to pull an acoustic guitar
be a
out.
big deal, isn't he?
And sing live on the radio like that. And he also, guys, he's been playing around town. So if you're around the Minnesota area, he's out playing live sometimes on the weekends and places. So. Pretty cool stuff to see Adam out there continuing his musical career. He's recorded a few albums for some people and stuff, and he's recorded some of his own stuff. Man, his kids are getting big, guys. Have you seen how big his kids are?
Wow.
Oh my gosh,
they grew up in a hurry.
When you don't see someone for a few years, you realize how many years it is, because the kids, the one was just a baby when he left. Well, hell, he's running around causing problems with Adam. So
oh man,
Adam, if you're listening, we appreciate everything.
Yeah.
And like I said, Scott and Kirk, I appreciate everything. And tune in Monday. Got a good podcast, 386, number 386, and we'll be posting that probably sometime in the afternoon, so you can download that bad boy and share that to all your friends.
So we better shut it down for now.
Yep, got to get down to
We'll
Oklahoma.
be back next week. Monday, next Saturday, we'll have a complete list together so we don't leave anybody out. But and we'll still be around. We're not doing away with this studio here. We're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it up. And,
still fired up.
We'll fire it up.
We're gonna do a show every now and then.
Every now and then. We got 2 shows we're gonna do in January, before and after the Chili Bowl. So we'll do that. And so, but as far as the Saturday morning show, that's going to draw to a close. But we better quit talking so we can hit the road. We got races to go to tonight. So we're gonna stop for now. Thank you, Todd.
Thank you, guys.
We can't do this without you,
I appreciate you guys saying that. Like I said, I'm trying to do my little part in this cool little show that we run over here, and happy that we're able to entertain some of these people out there in the area with our little brand of humor and our content. We think our show's a little different than everybody else's, and I've been happy to be part of this thing for the last 12 years. It's been fun.
Marie says I'm 74, still working at 50 years young.
We're just kids.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Marie, you're our best listener out there.
We appreciate Marie and all of our guests every week. We got a lot of people tuning in, so make sure you tune in Monday, and then again next Saturday morning.
Yep.
Track Talk will be a good one.
And Monday, we've got Dave Argerbright on the show, and we'll have another guest lined up as well. So tune in to the podcast on Monday. We'll be back here next Saturday morning for Todd Surprise and my great partner, and will always be my brother, Scott Traylor. I'm Kirk Elliott. Have a great rest of the weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.